Hello. It's good to be back here. I think I had prom or homecoming here once, but I'm Adam Rochford. 10 years forward, didn't think I'd be back here. So I'm taking a different approach here with my pitch because I get a lot of feedback I get is, Adam, this is never going to work. Your business looks really funny. And it almost seems like you have two businesses here. And that's largely true. And the reason is consider this. Consider you're considering two cars. One and not the other is exactly the same, and they're the same price. But the second one can also fly. Which one are you going to choose? So in this example, our point-of-sale add-on hardware is the car, and the road or driving is the cost that it costs to make coins for all the coins that we lose in the various places. They have not gone away, and they probably won't until cash goes away. Flying. Flying is eliminating credit card fraud. It is on the rise, and it will continue to be until it's solved. Credit cards started as credit, but largely aren't anymore. And I'll get into the reason why this fraud keeps going up. But first, whose problem is this? Well, taxpayers and consumers. Taxpayers pay to make the coins that cost the mint an extraordinary amount, and they also lose it when they lose the value of it, when they lose the coins that have to be replaced in the system. In terms of fraud, consumers pay for it. You're told you're not, but that cost gets factored into your groceries and everything that you buy because somebody has to pay for it. So you do. This is like a very common product framework. You can typically choose any two of these. For payments, there's no such thing as a better payment than another, right? It either works or it doesn't, right? So I've changed it to kind of say, all right, what is good? Good is it has to always work. Cheap is it has to be secure to eliminate fraud. And easy. Easy is very important. That's Staples, that is easy button. They're not paying me to say that. But, solutions have to do all of these. And if you can do it effectively, I think you have something. So why it hasn't been solved? Anyone in security will tell you that there's multi-factor authentication are these three things. Any two is considered secure for most purposes. Now, the key element that pretty much everyone else in the industry has missed is it has to be simpler. If you ever heard of chip and pin, in Europe, you have to have a pin. In the United States, it's just chip because consumers didn't want to enter a pin. It's more work, and when they're not liable for fraud, you're going to use your other card. So it didn't work. The lost revenue from asking for a PIN wasn't worth it, and so they backed away, and it became just as secure as the magnetic strip that was before it. Also, you can forget the PIN, so it's not reliable. So if you look at sort of what has been tried in the industry, Apple, Google, the big tech companies, they largely pioneered this, right? There's an old saying that it's when you have a hammer, everything looks like a nail. And phones were kind of that hammer in this situation. But they're not necessarily easier. It takes just as much effort to pull out your phone. So, and our research initially says that. And even furthermore, retailers are all now jumping on board. What's the solution? Well, let's look at the easiest forms of authentication and start there. Something you are. When you approach our hardware, it greets you by name, and all you have to do to make the transaction work is enter your PIN, or if you forget it, you can just tap the answer to a question that will be obvious to you, that me and my nerd friends will figure out. And largely, our initial research says that this is effective. So I encourage you all, it would greatly help us to take our survey. There's a couple other questions on there. Now, what's the coin side of the business? Everyone's familiar with Coinstar, and we've just taken that hardware, made it smaller, cheaper, and put it right at the point of sale.
Adam, we're at the 5-minute mark, so you can continue with your presentation and take Q&A after that, if you'd like, or take.
Sure. So, in terms of, I don't know what the future of payments is. I think it's easier. People who've taken my survey seem to think it's easier to just leave your phone in your wallet in your pocket. But if it's not, that's okay, and we can be wrong because our hardware is cheap. So this is what the ROI of the hardware looks like and what we have to do to break even on it. Basically, because it's so cheap and the margins are so high, we don't have to get that much volume. Now imagine what a fast food restaurant lets out of the system. It's huge. Every day, $75 more coins leave a fast food restaurant than come in, and those get lost. If that's not convincing enough, this is what the average Coinstar machine. So largely, we don't think there's a whole lot of risk by using coins to solve and get our hardware out there for free to innovate on payments. We have a lot of work to do, but we can't do it alone. Anyone who sort of is on board with our mission and can help us in any way, we hope to build a meritocracy and reward those who add value. And that's largely what the culture that my team and I hope to build. But it's a big task ahead, and we can't do it alone. So feel free to go to our website and reach out if you can help us. And thank you very much.
We have a few minutes for questions. At this time, you got 3.5 minutes.
I can repeat it. It's fine.
What's so normal credit cards charge merchant fees to the processor? What's the business model there?
Yeah, so we're going to be doing some testing on that. But right now, any merchant that gets involved with us, we're willing to offer 0% for life. Oh, the question was, what is our merchant fee charge? And we also give a kickback on coins as well. So Amazon One is doing that, and if you look at the YouTube videos, they're disgusting. People do not want it, and because they're weirded out by it, we just don't think we need it. I do have a fingerprint sensor on our prototype, and we might be testing it, but if you're already giving your face to social media and your payment data to Visa, now we're not asking to give anything about your privacy, because that's at our core values.
It looks very cool, but one thing you kind of hinted at up front is that you have two things going on. And who would you say is your primary customer, and what is their one problem?
Everyone's our customer who pays for anything under $20 in person. In terms of our number one customer, I can tell you that our demographics, there's the old lady with the coin purse who always pays in exact change. That's a small segment. The majority of people who are paying in cash, which is about 30% of transactions, under $20 still, are people who are paid in cash. So that's the answer to your point. But I do think they're actual distinct markets, and we're learning more and more about them frequently.